Alrighty, we are now in part 5 of Unit 1. We're summarizing everything we've talked about with equivalence that involved expressions, equations, and all that stuff. Notes 5 go a little bit differently. There's nothing new to learn in this unit. You've gone through all of it, you're all set. What these notes are, instead, are a way for you to make sure you know everything, which is why we start off with a checklist. So, go through what you already have, make sure you know what an expression is, how to simplify easy expressions and difficult ones with PEMDAS, know what true and false means for an equation and why that matters, and if you got a missing value, how to solve it. If you can do all of those things, you are set for the summative. But I also want to make sure you know what you're doing, so that's what these notes are for. I want you to pause and do as much as you can on your own. Pause and do as much as possible on your own. After you do as much as you can on your own, go back to this video, unpause it, and see if you got everything right. Whatever you don't know, you can watch me do. So, go ahead and pause if you haven't already, and go ahead and try this yourself. Afterwards, I'm going to work through all these, and you can check your work. Check your work once you're done. Okay, so you should know how to define an expression, simplify, find true and false, and solve for a missing value. Let's start with expressions. So we start with some definitions. Expressions have one mathematical idea, and they don't have an equal sign. Expressions can't be solved, and instead are simplified. Okay? And I'll give you 3 examples of expressions. I might do the number 2. I can do 3 plus 2. I can also come up with something like 4 minus 1 plus 8. Those are all expressions. Okay, moving on down to order of operations, we've got to make sure we know what PEMDAS stands for. That's going to be parentheses. It's all E's, no I's. Exponents. Multiplication and division. Addition and subtraction. Okay. So, what do we do first? What do we complete first? Multiplication or division? This is actually a trick question. We do them at the same time. From left to right. The same is true for addition and subtraction. Same time. Once you are confident with the PEMDAS order, you can simplify each expression down here. Now, this guy, I'm going to do both the multiplications at the same time because there's a minus between them. I have 6 minus 5 times 3 is going to be 15. 6 minus 15 will be negative 9. Here, I have 3, 8 minus 10 divided by 2. I can do this inside first. I end up with negative 2 times 3 divided by 2. Do this, I end up with negative 6 divided by 2. This will be negative 3. Next one up, I do 9 minus 4, that gives me 5. I do 20 divided by 5, gives me 4. Okay, this one's a tricky one. We've seen it a couple times. I want to make sure you're confident. We do adding first. 8 divided by 2. Okay, division before multiplication because it's left to right. We do 4 times 4 gives us 16. That is the true answer, 16. Okay, let's flip over to the back. We're now looking at equivalence. How many expressions are there in an equation? There are two, one on each side of the equal sign. How many ideas are there in an equation? Two ideas. We're comparing two ideas. An equation is true if both sides equal each other. An equation is false if both sides don't. Okay? So, determine whether each equation is true or false. Okay, well, if this equals 27, it's true. So, I'm going to do my simplification. I do 6 minus 15. That's definitely not going to equal 27. Negative 27. So, this is going to be false. 8 minus 4, that'll give me 4. This is 2 times 2, also gives me 4. This guy is true. Over here, I have 3 minus 1 times 4. I do the multiplication first. I end up with 4. 3 minus 4. On the right, I do 2 minus 1 gives me 1 plus 7. This gives me here negative 1. On the right, I have 8. That's definitely not true, so this will be false. And lastly, I accidentally doubled this question. Let's go ahead and cross it out. Okay, down here we want to write which expression that will make the equation true. I'm going to be clever for the first one and say 12 equals 12. This is true, so it works. Here, I'm going to say 3 plus 1 minus 2. That gives me 4 minus 2. All I need is something that equals 2. So I'll do 2 times 1. Okay, let's talk about equivalence. Blanks are basically the same as variables. Variables represent unknown or missing information. Now, x is the most common variable, but we can use others. And I'd like you to come up with some down here. I'm going to do A, B, and C. I'll also do like a square and a triangle. Lastly, I want you to figure out what x equals in all these guys. We're going to solve for x. Well, just from looking at the first one, we know that x has to be 6. In this one here, I need to simplify this guy. I do negative 2 times 4 first. This gives me negative 8. 3 plus 6 minus 8. I do 9 minus 8. I have 1 equals x. That's what x equals. Over here, I got to be tricky. So this simplifies out to 2 plus x equals 5 minus 4. 2 plus x equals 1. Later on, we'll learn how to solve. If you remember how to solve, please do it. If not, I got to think of what number gives me 1 here. And in that case, x has to be negative 1. Okay, so you may or may not remember how to do all of these. If you do, fantastic. You're ready for your summative test. If you're not, talk to me about it. I'm more than happy to answer your questions and to help you through this stuff. I want to make sure you are totally confident when it's time to take your summative. So, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next unit.